for all who have registered for today's call. The replay link will be sent out after today's call. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat box. And depending on your device, it could either be at the top of your screen or in the middle of your screen. And hopefully everyone can see that question that I just put in the chat box. So where it shows up on your monitor is where you can put in your questions. We're going to try as best as possible to stay on time. So for those who want to engage our Tech Diva a little bit longer, her contact information as well as other resources are on your dashboard to download under the Meeting Resources window. And so now let me introduce our guest speaker, the touchable Tech Diva, Zenobia Millet. Let me give you a little bit of background about her. Quite interesting. She's done a lot of things in her life and still is doing a lot of things. So Zenobia describes herself as a geek, a cute one, I think we can all say from that based on her picture. But she's a geek serial entrepreneur who's had a mad passion for jazz and the pursuit to live passionately. She has over 30 years experience in the field of entertainment technologies, which is huge because that's very much a male-dominated field, as a consulting digital media and production professional, and also as an award-winning interactive multimedia producer. She's also the producer and host for Tech Diva and the Luxury Lifestyle. It's an online TV show that combines her passion for jazz and sharing the latest in the technology world. So with that said, take it away, Zenobia. I think we have to patch Zenobia in.
Hello.
There you are. Hi there. Oh, this is on technology. I better get this straight.
Well, I have to hand it to Renee. She's becoming the goddess of this webinar platform, so I have to hand it to you for taking it on. But thank you again, and I was just saying that it's really interesting to hear somebody introduce you, and it feels a lot better. Thank you.
That's good.
Like, gee, I did do all of that. And I'm still, as you said, I'm still, into the Wild Wild West still. It doesn't seem to ever go away.
Wow.
So with that, today I just found that we're all wearing multiple hats. And I had to take a break and just stop because I felt so overloaded. And I just stopped and I took out one of those great big huge pieces of paper that you do presentations on at workshops. And I sat down on the floor with a glass of wine and I said, let me write down all my different hats. And it turned out I had 7 parallel lives that I was either running, fixing, or indirectly involved in. And I was like, oh, no wonder. So that's a good exercise for you to just stop and then look at, you've got your kids, you have your business. Anyway, I said, oh, no wonder, and I'm doing all I can to stay above water here, but I need some help. And that's when I got serious about trying to figure out how to get some help. Well, not all of us can pay for a personal assistant or someone to help us. And so I had to get pretty creative. I call it guerrilla style. I do a lot of guerrilla style stuff where I just figure it out. And everybody, we as women, that's what we do. And so I had gotten this new cell phone. I had to give up my old, cell phone, and I got this new cell phone. And messing around, because I'm always pressing buttons, I realized, oh, this can do quite a bit of stuff that I can start to look at automating and actually putting in boxes so I could keep better track and visually see stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized, oh, I need to make this my personal assistant.
All right.
So with that, it did take a little while to get my mindset changed and get in the habit of doing things. And then also I realized that there are a lot of people who still, even today in 2015, really don't want to be bothered with any kind of technology. I have a friend in our card-playing group, and she has no cell phone at all.
Wow.
Okay, but then she said, well, you know, I guess I need to really get one. Can you go with me? So I actually go with clients and help them to shop for a cell phone that matches what they're doing. And so there are still a lot of people out there, but my thing is to get you to the point where you don't fear using it and pressing the buttons. It won't break. You can always restart it. And just don't ignore it, but take it on and embrace it and figure out how to have it help you either in your business or in your daily life. You just live in life. And that's where I came up with, I realized that there were some efficiencies as with this personal assistant. So let's see, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, cool. So then I realized, oh, well, there's an address book, there's a calendar, it has all those little basic things that we used our day timers for. And
there's a name from the past.
So yes. Very past, and there's a generation now that doesn't even know what a day timer is. Okay, so there you go. So then I realized that I could very quickly create what my own database, because my contention is we are each our own IT person, whether we get paid or not. We are our own IT person, and we are the ultimate managers of our data that we get inundated with or we create. So with that in mind, once you toot around and you look at your cell phone and you see the home screen and you see all these little widgets or little applications — a widget is an application, by the way. Then you start to look at, okay, so there's the calendar, there's the address book. Okay, so how do I put stuff in the address book? And I'll tell you in a little bit about how to do it once and synchronize to all your devices or many of your devices. And so I realized that in doing, for instance, the address book, I could create by putting certain information in there, create a database that when you go in the search box, you can actually bring up a list. And it's very handy when you're out running around and you need to, just cycle through. Or, for instance, sometimes I meet people and I forget their name, but I have some idea of what business they're in or what city they're in. So I could do a search on the business, on the city, different keywords, and it'll bring up a whole list. And then you'll say, oh, okay, there he is, or there she is.
Okay.
So it makes it a lot easier for you to actually get your hands on usable data at the time. That's why I'm the Touchable Tech Diva, because we got to touch this stuff and make it work for us.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one particular application. Another one is, go back to the other one for a second. And then again, of course, you have your calendars where you can track stuff. And, that day timer, you need to retire that and use your phone to put your appointments in so that you no longer are one of those who said, well, I'll get back to you and let you know if I have that, what time I have free at the office. Not only is that lost productivity, but you lose money if you're a business person. And I look at people and I'm like, no, because 2 hours from now, somebody will potentially move on to someone else, or that time will get filled up. So again, that's a mantra or a mindset where you just have to enter the stuff right then. Yes. And then also all of the phones have some kind of reminders with alarms on them. Use the alarms. I have like 20 different alarms set up for different things. So you don't go in and reset an alarm every time. You set certain ones that you know are recurring, and you can simply just turn that alarm on, and it really helps. You either have it on silent, or if you have to have a gong, then you have your gong, whatever it's going to take. Okay, but the reminders are very, very cool. And on the iOS system, you can actually tie that into your address book with people who are attached to that reminder. Okay, so then now with the cloud, which is going to be a future webinar and topics that I talk about on my show all the time, you have the ability to synchronize. So, you know, we like our girl purses. I'm down to a small girl purse. So now I'm down to really just my smartphone in there. But I see, you know, we're walking around getting shoulder damage carrying these purses that have, you know, a tablet and a phone and a day timer, okay, detach, okay, because now you have the ability for your address books and your calendars to be synchronized to all devices so that you only have to do it one time. Mm-hmm. And that is like a savior, because we'd go crazy if we had to re-enter this information on all these different devices. So that's something that, you know, don't fear, don't shy away from it, but, you know, play around with it, because you will have some flexibility and it will save you immensely. And I just really get a big grin on my face when I put an event on my calendar on my cell phone, and then I go over to my laptop and there it is. And I'm like, oh, I love technology when it really works.
When it works.
Okay.
So how do you synchronize the devices then?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How do you synchronize your devices? You have that here as a synchronization of devices. So if I put it on my Apple phone, how does it get synchronized to my PC? Or I know it will be with my iPad, but other...
That's an excellent question. And what I have done is in the calendar, you can create different groups. And so I have a group that's for the show, Tech Diva and Luxury Lifestyle. I have it in it's color-coded. Okay, so you can set up a color code system with each of your different lives. I have a different color for my personal life, so that you can actually select just that one calendar and all of the events that you have attached to your personal calendar you'll see, or you can see them all at once. And so with that, and they're color-coded, so you can, you know, once you know your colors, you know, okay, so that's for the business, that's for me personally, that's for my daughter, that's her schedule, that's my husband's schedule. So you can look at them individually, or you can look at them all together. Okay. And it really, really helps give you a graphical picture of what your life really is.
Too much.
And that you can have across all your devices to show up on all your devices, but also you can have one that only shows up on your cell phone, for instance, that you don't want broadcasted to all the other anybody else that has access to those calendars or on that calendar. So there's quite a bit of flexibility, and I'm sorry, there's no manual that tells you all of these kinds of things. So I suppose that means I need to write the book.
Okay. All right.
And one last thing, it makes you look really, really good when you're able to keep track of, you know, they don't have to know what your tools are, how you're doing this. But also, when I get into the next slide coming right up, it makes you look really, really good professionally as well as with your family, because there are apps that make your life a lot easier. And so now I'm going to quickly talk about two of my favorite apps. And the first one is called Red Stamp. And Red Stamp, well, just to explain apps, they're applications like you have on any computer. You have them on your phone as well. And depending on what operating system you're on, if you're on an iPhone, which is the iOS, you have the App Store, where you can go to the App Store and you can either download for free and install on your phone for free, or there's other apps that you pay anywhere from 99 cents to $25, depending on what it is. And then if you're on the Android system, like with the Samsung phones or the Google phones or the HTCs, you have the Google Store. And that's where you go to find all kinds of apps. There are well over 2 million, last I checked about a month ago, apps at least.
Wow.
Most of them are on both platforms, but some of them are not. So, yeah, you can go on intense overload. That's why I like to I've already vetted these, and I'm using these. So these are two of the ones that I've already vetted for you. So with Red Stamp, you see on the left, that's a screen capture of when the application first opens. And what it is, it's basically stationery that you get to choose so that you can either send a text message, or you can send an email, or you can send a physical card. Okay, so, and you have, these are just some of the categories. So it's already pre-made, and you add your message. So as you see in the center, a friend of mine, somebody couldn't go to this concert with him, and he called me up and said, hey, let's go to Caltech and check out a tribute to Leonard Bernstein. Little did he know that that's my favorite. He's one of my favorites. So afterwards, the next day, actually I started that night, I went into Red Stamp and created this thank you card, a thank you note, which I texted to him with a picture of Dee Bridgewater, the artist that was performing that night, and my little message. So I was terrible about sending thank you notes when I was a kid. You know, your parents say, send a thank you note to your grandmother. She sent you money. I was horrible at this. So now I'm able to look really good because now it's almost nothing that I can quickly send a thank you, send a birthday greeting, you know, and it looks cute. Yeah. And then also on the business side, you know, it's very easy. One of the things that is my mantra now, you know, sometimes I get behind, is the month after I've done business, I'll send a thank you for doing business with me to the people that have done business with me in the prior month. So within like the first 4 or 5 days, you know, when I'm rolling over in the bed in the morning, I quickly, and you can save favorites so then you don't have to redo it every time. And I quickly look at, okay, so I did business with her, him, her, and quickly send either an email or a text depending on how we communicate. And so this is an example. And so it's very easy, and you can recreate these. You don't have to make a new one every time, but they have a lot of different templates to make you look really good. So sometimes I get thank yous, and sometimes I don't hear anything, but you know that you're covered with your clients. Okay. And, okay, so my next favorite, because I know I only have a minute, is maps. So all of the phones have a maps function. They'll have Google Maps, or on the iPhones they have maps. And I have to confess, I'm still on my wonderful iPhone 4. So I have an earlier, because I'm one of those, I will run technology until it just won't work anymore. I'm like a laptop that was in year 9, and then finally I said, okay. Okay. So, but I am moving to an iPhone 6. So, so anyway, they all have this function, and if you are on an iPhone, unfortunately I can't speak to the Android phones at the moment, but I will. But if you're on iPhone, in the Maps application, when you search on, for instance, I have here the Doubletree Hilton. I was trying to get there. And it shows you, as you see in the left, a little red tag for where it is. And you see the little right-facing icon in the blue circle. Well, when you click on that, that will actually take you to a screen that looks like the one in the middle, where if it's a known facility, it will pre-populate the screen, as you can see, with their Yelp reviews, you know, the stars, the phone number, the website, the address, and the emails. So what you can do with that, under that, which I didn't quite show, let's see, you can get the directions to here or directions from here. You can also do add to contacts. And so what it will then go to your address book with it pre-populated with all of this information. And then if you look at the one on the right, I added in date added, the date that I went there. Now, if it's someone that you meet, I also created a custom tag label that says meeting date. So that way you know exactly the day when you met that person or went to that company, so you're able to create these custom labels. And I also have one for like email updated, so it has the date. Then you know how old the emails are, if they're current, or a website or whatever it is, address update. And so therefore you have kind of a tracking mechanism for time and place of where you met. And then also in the notes, I tag this as a hotel, so that if I am someplace and I'm searching and I just type in hotel in the address book search, then all the hotels will come up wherever I've entered that particular tag. And it just really, really, really is helpful. So I use that constantly. I don't even go to Google a lot of times to find things. I just go straight to the maps and type in whatever it is, and it'll more than likely show up on the map.
Right.
And so those are two that I found really, really helpful that I use incessantly.
Right.
And it's really, really made life a lot easier, and has made me be able to function a lot more efficiently, effectively, to what I call buy some of my time back so I can go and do some pleasurable things or do my passion. So my final words to you is demystify. Get over the, this is frustrating, I can't stand this, or just take it out of the drawer, because I've had people that just threw it into the drawer. Or just say, okay, I'll look at that later, and just get a nice glass of wine and sit down and explore your phone, so that you'll be grins, especially when you get that deal that came right while you were standing there with the client, okay? Or you put grins on your relatives' faces, and then you demystify also, so that you can come out of the gray, come out of the clouds, take a break, and go to Belize, which I actually was able to do. And that's really just to say, give yourself some time to do your passion, whatever that is, and learn what that is all over again. Like what I had to do after the last kid went off to college, and I'm like, do I like any of the stuff I used to like BC, before children? And so you end up learning a lot about what your passion is now.
Right.
And, okay, so quickly, my goings-ons are, if you're in the LA area, I'm hosting a couple of Meet Your Cell Phone workshops in person, and so the dates are there. And also I offer privates. So privates are available in person or via Skype, okay? That works really, really well as well, a Google Hangout. And you can get more information. There's going to be in the resource some information links at my Facebook page. And then also I have a button there to join my list. So you can sign up to get my emails on that Facebook page if you click on Join My List. Okay, and one of the fun things one of my passions was always being in the media. So I'm now hosting Tech Diva in the Luxury Lifestyle, which actually is my video blog. So I talk a lot about technology news. I talk about the favorite apps, things that you really need to know. I vet products, and pretty soon the online store will be open for you to actually buy products that I talk about, so that I know your time is valuable. So I'm vetting different technologies and products and services for you, because you're very busy.
All right.
And I want to be your trusted resource. So it's really fun. I intersperse it with music, and also have people and events on that will give you ideas about how to live passionately, in case you've forgotten. So because we do end up forgetting. And then also I am available for speaking engagements if you want to have a cute tech diva come and talk to your organization or your group, and I can also tailor-make the Meet Your Cell Phone for your particular group as well.
Great.
And thank you.
All right. Thanks, Zenobia. We have a few questions before we sign off today. So Allie says, nowadays, several people have multiple devices, like, a business smartphone, a personal smartphone, a tablet, a laptop. How do you suggest juggling and managing all these different devices without, a tech headache?
Oh, tech headaches. Okay, again, in 2 minutes it's really hard to talk about the synchronization, but there are cases where the cloud comes in really handy for synchronizing those devices so that you have control over all the information, whatever information you want to be on all the devices, or as I mentioned before, just specific ones. So that is like a big conversation.
Okay.
But that is possible. Now, there's a case for, depending on if you work in corporate, you will probably not want to synchronize your personal with that. So you do have to, in that case, for all kinds of reasons that I could go into, not synchronize those, but at the same time, on your personal devices, you can set that up so that you do have some of your business or corporate. If you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, then all bets are off. You sync up everything you can sync up.
Okay, excellent. So any parting thoughts? Anyone else has any questions? Again, as was mentioned on the dashboard here, there's some meeting resources that are available for you to download. And Zenobia's contact information is there, as well as schedule of her ongoing activities, including her online TV show, where she combines both jazz and technology. What a great combination. And it's available, as she mentioned, for private consultations as well as for groups. So if we don't have any other questions, I do want to thank all of you guys for your time. Next month, again, we have the 2010 webinar series on the second Thursday of every month. Next month is all about sustainable and socially responsible investing, putting your money where your heart is. And that will be hosted, co-hosted with Martha Schumann, who is with Pax World, and she'll be talking about the evolution of socially responsible investing, which was all about excluding, to now sustainable investing and impact investing. So that whole industry over the last 40 years has gone through a major, major change. So again, that will be next month, second Thursday. That's August the 13th at 1 o'clock. And we look forward to having you guys come back again. We'll send out the replay link at the conclusion of today's conference call, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.